Speaking of penises, why are there so many penises in Euphoria? I'm enjoying Euphoria because I had to find out.
Rising to be. Rising to be productive. Rising to be organized. Rising to be inspired. Who are you rising to be? New podcast every Tuesday, new videos every Wednesday and Saturday.
Take the fuss out of what you're having for dinner using Rising to Be's Grocery Gladiator printable bundle. The customizable meal planner helps you to prep and plan your meals ahead of time. And you can even add links to your favorite Pinterest recipes to try out for later. Use the shopping list custom categories to never forget anything while shopping for your groceries. Keep track of your exercises, daily steps, water intake, body measurements, and other fitness goals you have throughout the week and month to track your fitness progress using the Grocery Gladiator bundle. 3 unique color options to choose from. Available now at risingtobe.com and on Etsy. Hello everyone and welcome to Rising to Be Patreon exclusive video, and in today's video we're going to be covering some of the TV shows, podcasts, books, and movies that I have been watching for the month of January. So let's go ahead and get started. I only watched one movie for the month of January, and that movie was Encanto. As you know, the magical house, whatever. Oh, there might be a spoiler or two in this video as well. Well, the biggest spoiler of the movie to me, which is why it was a great movie, is that the villain of the movie is literally the grandma. And I ate it up. I ate it up because essentially the grandma is basically blaming everything on Bruno, which is the uncle who can, like, you know, tell the future, and people are just mad that if he knows, since he knows things and he tells them, they're basically blaming the future on him, which is kind of gross. So essentially, the grandma is always encouraging everyone to dogpile on Bruno, which Bruno doesn't deserve all this. Yes, Bruno is talking to dirty rats and mice in the house, but like, he didn't deserve all that. And yeah, she was essentially trying to dogpile on, what's the girl's name? Mirabelle. I only watched the movie once. I enjoyed it, but it was way too much singing. And I know everyone's like, oh, Lin-Manuel Miranda makes such great music, and he does. But you know, the songs, oh my God, the songs can just be like, okay, when is this one over? Like, they're cute. They're cute. And I like a cute song, but I don't like songs that feel like they're 45 minutes long. You follow? And I guess you get that vibe, especially because the man wrote several musicals. So of course Disney was like, well, you get free reign. And they definitely gave him free reign. I was watching a few videos on him doing like some behind the scenes videos. And they talked about how he had so much free reign that he not only did music for the movie, he actually helped to write the actual story and yada 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 about how he wanted Mirabelle to like be a princess, etc. etc. And Disney didn't say yes to all of his whims, but they definitely said yes to allowing him to carry out songs for, you know, the longest of time. And I think that's what dragged the movie down for me. I very much enjoyed the fact that the grandma was the villain. And she essentially wanted to do that as well to Mirabelle, the granddaughter, because she wasn't doing things according to what the grandma wanted, which I felt like was a very good thing to have in a movie. Like, sure, there was magic, but that wasn't like the main gist. It was very family centered. And I feel like we need more Disney movies like that, if that makes sense. Now, I am pissed off about one thing about this movie, besides the everlasting songs. Why doesn't Mirabelle have any powers? What's that about? I mean, yes, some people were saying that Mirabelle is basically going to be the new matriarch of the movie, because eventually the grandma's candle will go out. And I think they meant that as like a metaphor for like the grandma's life. Like, eventually her candle will eventually burn out. Her life will eventually go away. Well, I don't want to say go away, but you know, she eventually will die. You know, things happen. And then Mirabelle will become the new grandmother. Because I believe the grandmother in the movie did not have any superpowers. She was just kind of like support. And I believe that's kind of like what Mirabelle does. Especially when she did it for the curly-haired nephew she had, which is so cute. The one that does the things with the animals. Him. So she's like very supportive of everyone in her family. And I can tell that's what the grandma was essentially supposed to be doing in the future. but, well, not in the future, what she used to do before she started dogpiling on Bruno, her son, which is even scarier to me because it's like, that's your child. Why are you doing that to your son? You know, that took me a bit back, but it also reminded me of my own family because essentially my grandma kind of does that to my mother, and you know, and then she goes off on me as well. So I mean, it checks out, and it almost kind of made me cry. And I think that's really why Encanto is like really blown up online so much, because so many people are like, my abuela too is to a villain. Yeah, I've definitely been yelled at by my grandma for not essentially following her orders, as if, you know, like Mirabelle is. But I feel like just having that determination as well. You know. But I enjoyed Mirabelle, and I love the fact that the girl had glasses, as I wear glasses as well, because I certainly can't see out here in this big, beautiful world. Hopefully you can't hear the garbage disposal. But I plan to do these videos every single month. Now we have the month of January. But yeah, that was the only movie that I watched for the month of January. YouTube commenter Ava Lene, hopefully I said your name correctly. I love tip 5. Can't wait to try it out. Thanks so much for your comment, Ava Lene. Please let me know how tip 5 works for you. For books, read none because I am officially catching up on all of my Risingtobe content, whether it be our regular productivity videos that come out on Wednesday, as well as the planner videos that we do on Saturday, and that's on our new channel, Plan With Me, Risingtobe. I'll be sure to link that below for you to check out as well. And yeah, so no books, podcast, none as well, well besides mine. Oh, speaking of podcasts, my podcast will now be available in video format via Spotify, because now you can do video podcasts on Spotify, and it's completely free. You don't have to sign up for anything in particular or specific. I think you just might have to update like the newest version of Spotify. That's likely all you'll have to do, but it essentially functions the same way. So if you would press play, the video would just pop up, which is really, really cool. I think I might even do like a sneak peek in one of my upcoming videos to show you guys. But yeah, so next week's video that comes out, I believe that video is, let me double check on my phone. Yeah, February 1st. So February 1st podcast will be officially in video format, only on Spotify. The other the other podcast platforms don't have video capabilities yet, or for some reason. But, you know, on Spotify you can watch the video. Essentially, it's going to be the same video that we upload already to YouTube. You follow? So, yeah. Because I understand that some people who do listen to the podcast have no idea that it's actually a YouTube video. But of course, I just say this episode instead of saying this video. But yeah, it's exactly the same content that I put out on Tuesday, because the Tuesday is my podcast day. But yeah, and then the video comes out on Wednesday. I don't want to do put the same episode out in 2 different versions on the same day, because I still want people to go and listen to the actual podcast, if that makes sense. So yeah, check me out there. And of course, leave a podcast review. It helps out the show. And lastly, my biggest section for today's video, the shows. Okay, so first off, selling Tampa. Now, what I liked about this was, of course, melanated people, black women specifically. I very much enjoyed it. Now, I do have a few critiques about the show. Not enough houses, not enough real estate. Of course, I enjoyed, what else I didn't like? I also didn't like that we didn't have a plus size woman on the show. Yes, we had, I believe her name's Tania, with the biggest butt I've ever seen on Netflix that isn't like an acting show, you know, because this is like a reality show. It's a reality show on Netflix, basically, with a whole real estate firm in Florida, I believe? Yeah. Because it's a spinoff from Selling Sunset. And of course, a lot of people are throwing rocks at this show because, well, this is the first season of this spinoff. I feel like they should have had a spinoff earlier, way earlier. But I'm sure that didn't happen because of, well, COVID. But yeah, what I liked about this show was almost everything. I really liked how everyone dressed. I think they had very good wardrobe, in my opinion. Well, besides a few people. And the main person that was, I'm sure I'll pop her up on the screen, but I didn't really like some of the things she had to wear. And what was even worse is she was giving like outfit advice and like saying certain people's outfits were appropriate for work and weren't appropriate for work. And I'm just like, lady, some of the things you wear are just ugly, and then some of them are a bit hoochie. But you want to call other people's hoochie outfits hoochie when you're kind of hoochie yourself. So I found that a bit strange. My favorite character person is Anne Sophie. I really like that she had, I also, her and Sophie, as well as Rena. These are two people who are very degreed up, very educated, like, and you can tell that they come from a professional background. As someone who has a degree, professional background, business, etc., I was very impressed by seeing two Black women who are essentially doing the exact thing I want to do. I don't want to sell real estate, but I do want to have my own notary business. I'm currently studying to get my notary license thing. So it just very much motivated me to get into the real estate world because I'm hoping to become a loan signing agent. But yeah, I was just so blown away by their professionalism. So I feel like that's the real reason they got so fed up with, what's her name? Oh my gosh, the lady's name. I gotta Google the characters because now I'm talking about people and I don't even know who I'm talking about. Let me see. Selling Tampa. Sherelle Rosado, her. Okay, so I think the real reason they were kept bumping heads with Sherelle Rosado is because she's very militant. She doesn't really have much professionalism, and it very much exudes. She'd rather just yell at people and tell them to get it done when instead she should just show someone how to get anything done. And I also feel like that might be why Alexis is essentially Alexis, because she doesn't have much guidance. Instead, she just has Sherelle Rosado, who's just gonna march out orders and just expects it to be done. But I feel like with this kind of thing, you really do need someone who's hands-on. You're not just gonna pick it up on your own, you know? So I feel like she did kind of lead Alexis down. But I also feel like some of these people who are in the office, they came ready to go, but Alexis didn't come ready to go. A lot of them were probably doing real estate at other places, or you could tell they just had experience before they got there. I don't think they got any experience from Sherelle, from what I've noticed, and especially based on what we've seen on camera. I do hope we get a second season because I'm very much obsessed. I gobbled this show up in an entire day, I want to say. It's about 20 to 30 minute episodes. Very, very good. It's on Netflix. Must watch, I definitely have to say. Now, of course, the main critique for this show that everyone has been saying is they don't sell enough real estate. But of course, I figured that's what was going to happen anyway, because Sherelle did say this is her first or second year in business. Secondly, she's one of the only minority only minority real estate firm in her state as well as her city. So I was like, okay, racial opposition. So of course it's going to take her a minute to build. And secondly, you don't do several multi-million-dollar properties, as well as with the Oppenheim Group, which is the spinoff Selling Sunset. She's not there yet. Honestly, we're seeing someone build into what the Oppenheim Group is doing. But it's very bare bones. Just give it a second. I feel like sometimes people can just be a bit too critical. And I also feel like some people who watch Selling Tampa clearly didn't watch Selling Sunset. Because I was rewatching their first season again today, and I saw how some things just weren't there. And I feel like you can get that same feel from Selling Tampa. But at the same time, I gave the show a chance. I feel like, especially with Netflix, you have to give certain things a chance, because stop being so critical. It's everyone wants to be a producer, a critical reviewer. And another thing, this isn't a review because I'm not I don't think I'm capable enough to give a TV review because again, what credentials do I have in TV? I just enjoy watching TV. That is it. But yeah, as far as Selling Tampa, justice for them, and please give us a second season, because first of all, Selling Sunset, this latest season we just got for Selling Sunset, was absolutely awful and boring. I was not impressed. Of course, Christine is always the villain, and my name's Christina, and I'm always the villain in my family as well. So, but not much happened. Not much happened. It just seemed like it kind of felt like the show was on autopilot because they were so busy focused on Selling Tampa. Perhaps that's what's going on. Because even like take Shonda Rhimes, for instance. When she was working on certain shows like specifically Scandal, that season of Grey's Anatomy was terrible. When she was working on to create How to Get Away with Murder, Scandal, as well as Grey's Anatomy, those seasons when she was making How to Get Away with Murder were awful. So perhaps that's what's going on here with this whole Selling Sunset situation, because they were so focused on creating a successful spinoff. They kind of just let the thing simmer in the pot with Selling Sunset. Selling Sunset. And boy, does it show. But hopefully the new season will pick up, because at the end of that season, we basically got a hint or like a sneak peek to the new season coming up with Chriselle just kissing her boss, which is nasty. And I still don't see how any of them are like attracted to him, especially because they look exactly alike. Like, how can you tell the difference between the two of them? I mean, I guess you can kind of, because one of them is always hitting on everyone that works there, you know? Which to me is interesting, because I was like, do y'all not have an HR department? Because you're not supposed to be dating. You're, who you're above, essentially. You're insubordinate. I believe that's the term to use. But yeah, you're not supposed to be dating. I feel like it's inappropriate. And yes, he has a decent relationship with Mary, and I think that's mostly based on Mary's part. I don't think it has anything to do with him. I think it's strictly just Mary, because she definitely dated up with Romaine. Now, the man can't speak a lick of English, but he is fine. Very, very delightful looking. So I think, of course she's happy to leave him in the dust, because what she had with him wasn't all that great anyway. And I also feel like she didn't really need to be with him either, because Mary is doing the thing at Selling Sunset. Why am I talking about Selling Sunset? Let's get into our next show that I watched in January. But I definitely recommend watching Selling Tampa. And that's available on Netflix. All right, and the next show I've been watching, well, kind of like pity watching, is the originals, because I really enjoyed watching, oh my goodness, I forgot the name, Vampire Diaries. And here's another thing. I had no idea that other show they have that's currently on the CW right now. Let me see. iPad. We're going to do this in person. Okay. Come on, thing. Okay, so the originals, and what else was it? Legacies. That's the doggone show. So they have that show Legacies, because I was kind of enjoying it. And I really enjoyed the fact that they had Black people on the show. Now, when I last watched it, they had this dark-skinned Black girl on the show. Because I think she's like the brother of the guy with the dreadlocks, who's actually really talented. So I think the lady, and the reason I watched Vampire Diaries in general is because they had this video that went viral a few months back about, what's her name, Kat Graham. It was a video of her doing her hair in her bathroom during the whole pandemic situation. And it was about how she grew up being mixed and didn't know how to do her hair. And she was like literally having a mini breakdown because of the turmoil in like how they wanted her to have her hair, and essentially their version of how mixed people should look. I thought it was very, very interesting, very, very sad. And I was like, what in the world happened to this woman while she was doing Vampire Diaries, because it sounds like a lot of abuse. And you can tell, like, how long has Vampire Diaries been off the air? A good minute. And she still carries that with her. Yes, she's done a few Netflix movies, but it also made you think about, like, okay, they do have a very specific way of how they want Black people to look on camera. It's very weird. And you definitely get that vibe watching Vampire Diaries, for sure. Because it's like Bonnie is essentially a personal assistant as a witch. It's gave me the biggest headache. But I did enjoy the show. I wish they would have given Bonnie a spin-off instead of doing the originals. To me, I feel like that would have been an easier, it made more sense to me. Like a witches show completely. And you could still base it off in New Orleans. I feel like that was a missed opportunity. But I also feel like they missed that opportunity on purpose because the lady didn't like Black people, in my opinion. Well, not in my opinion, based on what they said about Miss Cat Graham. And while doing a nice deep dive on YouTube, I definitely feel that way. And I don't feel that way. There's proof. There's too much proof. And because so much happened with her character that just felt off. And people online still talk about it to this day. So you owe her an apology, and more than an apology, but absolutely disturbing. Okay, my next show is Elite. Now, this is a show that I watched originally when it first came out on Netflix because I just was so enamored by it. Yes, I was a bit turned off that it wasn't in English, but the drama. I think it's the most enjoyable show I've seen. It is very addictive to watch. I think we're on what, season 4, season 5, and they even did like mini episodes or something like that for a season break because of COVID, I believe. And that's kind of like when I fell off watching. But then I heard like the latest season they just had was one for the books, and boy was it. So I essentially rewatched all of that in January, and I am pumped and ready for what's about to come with this new season of Elite. But it was so crazy. I didn't think I would still be enjoying high school dramas at this age, but Elite does high school dramas very, very well. And especially because it's an international show. It's dubbed over. I like to watch the dubbed version with subtitles, just in case the translation is a bit off sometimes. It's a great way to make sure I'm actually up to speed with the story. But it's very, very good. I have to say. And I really liked how, even though on this show, when they have, you know how like with some of these high school shows or what have you, they'll have kids graduate, but like the new kids you never really like. But what I liked about them, what I liked about these new kids that they added on were the principal's parents, the principal's kids, which added a bit more mess to it. So it was like, oh, okay. But I think that was a very smart move because it wasn't just like 3 random kids. It was actually kids that actually are very involved in the story because their father is literally the principal. But even though their father's the principal, the 3 of them are still a musty mess. And I enjoyed that. So, and of course, another show I watched was Wheel of Time by Amazon. Now, I watched the first episode, but it's not what I wanted it to be. And I don't even really know what I wanted it to be. Well, first of all, from watching like the previews, I wasn't really sure what the show exactly was about. And even still, I still don't really know what the show's about after watching the first episode. I'm still kind of lost. I feel like I gotta read a book. And then I found out that it's actually based off of a book, but I don't feel like I'm gonna read a book to figure out what's going on the show. I feel like the show should be able to tell me what is going on. And I even thought I was missing. I had skipped past a few episodes because I was just that lost in the show. It didn't feel like an introduction. It felt like, okay, you should already know what's going on. Let's get started. But I'm not. I don't know who any of these people are. And like they're talking about the importance of their braid. And I'm like, okay, girl, I guess your braid's important. But I was very much confused. And so I think I'm gonna just watch a few YouTube videos on what I should know about Wheel of Time and then give it a rewatch. But yeah. And I'm hoping that the new season of Elite will be coming out soon because I'm very much ready for that. But yeah, Wheel of Time on Amazon, it's cute. That's all I got for it. And I'm sure it's cute if I have some understanding. Fairfax. Now that's Amazon cartoon, which is wildly inappropriate. I feel like I can't remember who this show is like based off of or something like that, but it's like a really, really good cartoon. I didn't finish the season. I do like how they have representation in some of these cartoon characters. There's an Asian kid, there is a Spanish girl, or like a half black Spanish girl, kind of like the Spider-Man, the Amazing Spider-Man from Sony, as well as another black child, voiced by Jabuki Young White, who's like one of my favorite comedians right now. He's the guy on the Trevor Noah show. I think he's still on there, but when he was on there, hilarious. And I watched like one of his his stand-ups, but he doesn't have a stand-up special yet because he's not that known, and he's gay, so I don't think he's gonna get one, because you know how people are very homophobic. But his gay jokes in one of his specials had me on the floor. And I'm not even gay, but it was just hilarious. You'd have to watch it. Jabuki Young White is on that show. Who else? The girl, I believe it's the girl who played Halle Berry's daughter on that show she was on. That's another really good show. I think I'm gonna rewatch on Amazon. Let me pull up my Prime Video. Okay, because I want to look at the cast. Kiersey Clemens, and I believe that was the girl. She also was in that Lady in the Tramp movie. They also have the girl who plays Veronica from Riverdale. She's voicing a character on here as well. Yeah, Kiersey Clemens. She's had several great roles, and I very much enjoyed her. And who else? Somebody named Matt Taylor. I don't know. But yeah, it's a very decent show. I'm on episode 4. I'm not sure how many episodes. Oh, there's 8 episodes in total. I hope they get a second season because it's actually pretty darn good. It's an animated show. I believe that's the only animated show I watched for the month of January. So yeah. Another show I watched, the reason I was on Amazon actually watching Fairfax and the Wheel of Time, was The Boys. And I wanted to watch it. I've been meaning to watch it for a while, but I kept forgetting. And I also kept forgetting where to watch The Boys. I kept forgetting that Amazon has shows. Do y'all forget that too sometimes? That Amazon makes shows? But yeah. I had to watch season 2. Now, I don't know why there were so many penises in the show. Speaking of penises, why are there so many penises in Euphoria? I'm enjoying Euphoria because I had to find out, because they had this meme with the girl who plays Cassie on the bathroom wall thing with her like face going crazy, and I was like, is this a scary movie? What is it? And no, it was just her sleeping with her best friend's man, well, ex-man, but you get the point. Whether I'd be dating my ex or not, I don't want you dating my friend. It's gross. But you get what I'm saying. Like, her eyes were going all crazy like she was on a scary movie. And I kept seeing that online. I was like, who is Cassie? Huh? Because I didn't watch Euphoria. Because I kind of felt like Kimmy JD from YouTube, I'll leave her channel as well. Or at least the video. But I definitely agreed with some of the things she was saying in her video about how in Euphoria, it's supposed to be a high school show, right? But yet we get so much nudity, so much, a lot of inappropriate things, in my opinion. But I understand we have some people in high school that do these things, but my goodness. And especially because they're technically supposed to be children, I didn't want to see nudity. Yes, you can have a sex scene, but do I have to see everyone's business? No. Because if we're technically, like, even if you were like a pedophile and you're viewing these as, viewing them as children, it's weird. It's weird. I'm 25 and it's weird for me. So, you know, and then what's even weirder is you have a sex scene with the guy from Grey's Anatomy, at all things, in one of the most brutal sex scenes I've ever seen, because I was very uncomfortable. I feel like that's what Euphoria is mainly known for now. Like they're just known for just having shock factors, and I feel like, sorry, my camera stopped recording. But yeah, I feel like Euphoria is kind of just known for shock factors at this point. Like they're not really known for much of anything else. Yes, the story's there, but I feel like they just add so much disturbingness. I feel like I'm just disturbed sometimes watching this show. And yes, I know that Zendaya gave us, you know, a very, very shocking warning. But I also feel like they should have done a press conference or like a press statement or a press briefing on just how disturbing the show is. Because it's, and that was the thing. This is the briefing that she gave for season 2. She didn't give a briefing for this, or like a warning for season 1, but that was quite brutal. But yeah, and another reason I wanted to watch it is because they kept saying Fesco's grandma is a G. I'm like, who? First of all, who's Fesco? That's what, another thing that made me want to watch Euphoria. I'm like, Fesco? What kind of name is Fesco? But yeah, definitely a fan of the character Fesco, honestly. But at first, that was another thing that turned me off of Euphoria. The black scents. Why do they have to have black scents? Can we talk about that? And then he's wearing like a Coogee sweater, as well as what else he was wearing? A Michael Jordan sweater. It's just giving black fishing, light skin fishing. And I get that not Euphoria. I get that Zendaya is mixed, but I also feel like she's not noticing some of these problematic things. You know? Because it's definitely problematic. And yeah, I feel like we need more dark skin representation. I also realized that Zendaya is literally the only black person on the show, which makes me uncomfortable. And don't tell me anything about that damn McKay person, because he shouldn't exist. Why are they trying to normalize people, college age people, having technically a high school girlfriend? I feel like that was weird and gross. Like, let's not normalize that. And it took me the longest to figure out that he was supposed to be in college, because he's so short next to, what's his name? Aaron? I don't know. Let me Google. You know what I'm talking about. The guy that's messing up everybody's life on Euphoria. Nate Jacobs, him. But yeah. Because that guy's like gigantic. So considering like the Nate guy is supposed to be still in high school, and then the McKay guy is like in college, it's just weird. It took me a very long time to catch on that McKay's supposed to be in college. And yeah, that's not okay with me. But he's like a B-roll character. But again, he's sure black. He's black, yes, but he's a guy. I feel like we need a dark-skinned woman or just a black person. Yes, we have the full black mother, but again, she's a background character. McKay is kind of a background character. We need more just regular black people. And then we got Jules telling that random lesbian girl when she went out of town, you remind me of Rue. And to me, that felt super duper racist. Like, it just has a few racist undertones in this show, and I'm not okay with it. It's just weird. Besides just the regular nudity in this show. But yeah, not cool with it. And the last show I watched during January was The Sex Lives of College Girls. Terrible show name, but very, very great story. Now, I thoroughly enjoyed this show. I rewatched it. I love it. I love all of the characters on this show. I laughed the most at the girl who's supposed to be like from the middle of nowhere, and I like how you really got to see the transformation of these few girls. And I also feel like none of the characters, none of the like the core 4 girls were no one got the, what am I trying to say? None of them got left behind in the story. Like you felt like you knew were keeping up with all of them at the same time. And I felt like that was a very great way. Whoever did that did a great job in making sure that we all always had constructive stories and a good story to keep up with all of the characters. You never really felt like a character, oh, this character we don't know much about this character. I feel like we know so much about all of the characters. Like no characters got left behind. And my favorite character is the girl in the wheelchair. Because she was hilarious, absolutely hilarious. I hope she comes back for the new season, as well as both of the people from the coffee shop. Not just the guy, but also the funny Spanish girl. She was hilarious. Her and the girl in the wheelchair. Absolutely. I kept busting out laughing. Because let me see. Now what's crazy. Euphoria and Sex Lives of College Girls. I'm going to pull up the picture. But I was watching Euphoria. No, not Euphoria. I was watching an interview with Issa Rae and Zendaya talking about like her entire career. And guess who was in the audience? Girl in wheelchair from from the Sex Lives of College Girls, just sitting and watching the interview. And I just thought that was so cool. So I'm gonna pop up that screenshot on the video, of course, because I thought you should see it too. Random, but yeah. What else? I'm happy that this Sex Lives of College Girls is getting a second season, because boy does it need one. Mindy Kaling did a very great job with this show. I definitely see myself in at least all of these characters. And that's another thing. I felt like this show was so real when it comes to college. Not only that, but I also think it gave a better representation on what a lot of these shows, what a lot of these young shows or like young adult shows should be doing. And that I know a lot of times people think, well, you can't do a show about college. You just can't. It's just too complicated. But the Sex Lives of College Girls, it's doing it right. I feel like it's so believable. And not only that, it's relatable. I don't want to say believable, but like it's relatable and definitely believable as well, because I feel like some of these situations they have in the show I've been in, honestly. Like, I'm like, oh my goodness, Mindy Kaling, are you in my life? I honestly felt that way. But it just definitely was very, very endearing. I loved it. Now, what wasn't relatable was, what is her name? The preppy girl who kind of reminds me of the lady from Legally Blonde. No, what wasn't relatable was her handing out iPads to all of her roommates once she like was essentially dismissing them and being rude about having to live with him. That was definitely funny. I've never gotten a gift, especially an expensive gift, from my roommate. I've also had pretty terrible roommates. No offense if you're watching, but just being honest. But yeah, I definitely enjoyed that, and I love the realism. But first of all, that college that they're filming at, I believe it's like Dartmouth, which is like the school that Mindy Kaling attended. And speaking of, Shonda Rhimes also attended there, I read both of their books, and they both give a shout out to both of each other, which I think is so cute. It's a PWI that they went to, and I'm happy that they covered that, showing minority students at a PWI. I feel like that's very, very important, because I went to a PWI, and that's why I felt like this show is just so good with the storytelling, because it definitely shows a very great representation of what it feels like to be a minority at a public white institution. Because good God, they got it right. And of course, you can only get that from a minority person. A white person can't tell you how a minority person feels at a PWI. You're just not going to get it. And you're just not going to tell the story right either. But Mindy Kaling and her team got that done right. And I also loved how there was a what am I trying to say? A historically black, historically black house, or like a dorm house or whatever, that I thought that was so cool. Just saying, because my school Southeastern didn't have any sorority houses for the Black sororities and fraternities. And I thought that was important to incorporate because you need some sort of safe haven as a minority student. You just do. And no, that's not racist. You just need a safe space. Let's just call a spade a spade. Some place where there's not white people. Not saying that white people can't walk in that building. That's not what I'm saying. Don't go there. But just a place. It's just nice to have a place. That's it. But yeah. I'm very excited for a second season of The Sex Lives of College Girls. Yeah. Definitely excited. I don't have much to say. Just go watch that show for sure. Because I feel like not enough people talked about it. And it deserves to be talked about. It's really, really good.
Do you want even more Risingtobe in your life? Then join the Risingtobe Patreon. It helps you support the channel and other forms of content. There's 3 tiers to choose from, starting as low as $4. So here's a breakdown of tier 1. You get access to the monthly wallpapers for your computer and phone to keep you motivated and inspired all month long. You get to choose 1 monthly video topic, and of course you get a Patreon shout out in my next video. Tier 2 has access to monthly wallpapers. You get to choose 1 monthly video topic, early access to videos, and of course a Patreon shout out in my next video. Tier 3 has access to the monthly wallpapers. They get to choose 2 monthly video topics and 1 podcast topic. Early access to videos and podcasts, a Patreon shout out in my next video, and of course exclusive access to my printable collection from my Etsy store, Risingtobe. And it's only available through Patreon and Etsy, so this is something you really want to jump on. There are 3 tiers to choose from. I plan on adding even more as we go along. So I hope you'll consider joining the Patreon Risers. Keep rising to be who you want to be.
But I'm hoping to also do these videos again. Well, not again, but like monthly. So hopefully I'll be able to hopefully I'll be able to keep up with these videos. It's very impromptu, no script behind my computer. You know, there's gonna be run-ons. I'm gonna take sips of water. But thank you so much for watching. And I'm happy that hopefully you'll check out some of these things. Hopefully I'll read a book as well as have some music to tell you about next month as well. But thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye everyone, and remember to keep rising to be who you want to be. Bye.